What's up, fitness business nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Business for Unicorns podcast. I am here with my good friend back on the podcast again from Kilo, Mateo Lopez. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm good. I should have looked before this. I always forget to do my homework when it comes to this. But how many you've been on the podcast? This must be like 3 or 4 times now, I think.
At least three,
Yeah,
maybe four, but probably
you're
three.
a regular. You're a regular.
Yeah.
We're recording this at the beginning of October, so let's just reflecting back. How was your summer, my friend?
Well, October is always great because my birthday is October 5th,
Oh
so
my
it's
gosh.
always a great month for
Yeah.
me. At least in the beginning. Then it gets spooky. Then it gets spooky.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
early
think,
October is peak for
yeah.
me.
Well, happy belated. We're recording this just after your birthday. But I also
Thank you.
saw you in Denver. How was your experience at our Denver retreat?
Denver was great. I don't know if you had a chance to watch my testimonial that I left
I
for
didn't see it yet. No.
Rosemary. But for those of you who are listening to this podcast who is not a member of the Unicorn Society, I highly recommend checking out their next event. It's always a beautiful kind of time to spend with gym owners who are where the vibes are good. You know,
Hmm.
the vibes are good. I've been watching Survivor lately. There is an older contestant. He is baffled by the word vibes. So I'm sorry if I'm
Oh.
using it and you don't understand what it means. But what I'm
Mm.
trying to say is it's a really amazing experience to be in front of all these gym owners and to be led by Michael and Mark, just two really empathetic guys who want to help you get better at gymming at the gym world. So it was great. Denver
Yeah.
was great.
It's always good to have you and to have Kilo there. We have so many Unicorn Center members who use Kilo all the time, as do we. And it's great to have you there repping the brand and getting introduced to brand new people. So maybe let's just start there. For people who are maybe getting introduced to Mateo for the first time, I want to just say a little about who the hell you are, what you do at Kilo, and what the heck is Kilo.
Well, yeah, I started my journey in fitness pretty early on, basically right out of college. I started working at a gym uh, previously owned by my now business partner, John Franklin. This was back in 2014. I was working the front desk. I was coaching. I was managing that space. When John wanted to expand, he offered the opportunity to buy into some of the other facilities. At one point, we owned 5 gyms. We were running 5 gyms in the Northeast, New York, Jersey, Philly. Um, we were working at the time, and then 2017, 2018, working very closely with another kind of business mentorship group. We had the opportunity to start teaching other gym owners in that group how to market, how to use Facebook ads, how to build landing pages. And then around 2019, we started a new company, a website, a marketing automation company to help gym owners grow their business that has since grown even more. So
Mm-hmm.
now we offer a more expansive suite of products. So now we offer gym management software so that you have you can find all the tools you need to run your business and grow your business all in one place, dealing with one customer support rep, dealing with one team to help you really as a partner. We think of it as a partnership to help you grow your gym because we were all gym owners at one point, and we were
Mm-hmm.
all everyone on staff was either an owner of a gym, worked at a gym, maybe still does work at a gym. Many of our staff members still work at gyms, are involved in the gym world, and we treat this as like not just a vendor for you guys, but we really want to be a partner and help support you guys as you try and help more people through
Yeah.
fitness and
Well, I think
nutrition.
those are two of the major things I think makes Kilo so different. Is one is that it's created by and really run by people who understand the business. This is not a product, a series of products that was designed for hair salons or karate studios. Or,
Right.
it's designed for gyms first, and so I think that's a huge differentiator. And the fact that you guys kind of walk the talk, and you know what it's like to be in the weeds every day is important because you know what kind of software we need, our gym owners need. And the other point that I think I love so much about Kilo, which is why we're such big fans, and we talk about you guys all the time, is because it is a one-stop shop. You can get someone to build your website and connect that website to amazing automations and get gym management software for all your booking and billing in one place. And,
That's it.
I've spent the last, 13, 14 years in this business duct taping together different pieces of software to try and make them talk to each other and work and makes sense.
So
And
did I. That's part of
yes.
why we built it.
And so,
Too much time spending is using Zapier to connect things, and
yeah,
I didn't think things through.
100%. And even before Zapier, just like downloading,
Yeah,
spreadsheets and then re-uploading, and we've done it all. So anyway, dear listeners, you've heard us talk about Kilo, I'm sure, if you listen to even one episode of this podcast. But down below, I'm sure is a link to learn more. Go check them out; they're doing great work, and we're really excited to be partners with y'all. Which leads me to today's topic. One of the things that you all do best, and you help our members do best, is to work with automations. A lot of folks, times I'm guessing this is the case, but a lot of times I guess people coming to Kilo are getting to started using automations, marketing on and lead follow up automations, probably for the first time. And I think there's so much promise in using automations well in terms of lead follow up. And there's also a lot that people get wrong. There's also lots of ways you can use automations poorly, where it's not going to save you a lot of time, could even do maybe a little damage to your reputation, right? And so, maybe let's just start there. When people first come to Kilo and are using automations for the first time, what are some of the things they get wrong? What are maybe some of the misconceptions they have? Where do people get wrong about this topic?
Well, I think you said the first thing right there is a lot of people aren't leveraging
Mm-hmm.
automations to save time and
Yep.
to have a bigger impact. A lot of people are still doing manual follow up work or trying to follow up with their leads in a manual way, one by one. So I think that's one big piece
Yeah.
is people just are still doing it the old school way, right? With nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, especially given where you are, maybe in your journey, you're still pretty early on, you have limited resources, it can take you far. But I think that's step number one is just still doing it all, most of it manually, right? And then the flip side is there are some people who maybe bought a service or signed up for something a while ago and haven't really taken a look at their automations in a while. So some stuff may
Yeah.
be getting stale
Yep.
or just like it's not even relevant information anymore. Like maybe
Sure.
your phone number has changed, or maybe your the person who's like speaking in the automation, the staff member is not even there anymore at the gym, right? So just those are small things, but obviously there can be more important things like locations, address, whatever. Or just the program that you're trying to sell people into.
Yep.
Many gym owners cycle through front end offers, which makes sense. The industry is it's really competitive. You have to keep changing things up, but then your automations may be out of date. So that would be the other piece. Very common. We just see people will set something up and not go back and review it on a regular
Not look at it for a
basis.
while. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you have stale information going out, or maybe even misinformation going out in your automations, which is not doing you any favors. I think actually maybe let's pause for a second and maybe just define what we're talking about when we talk about automations, because I jumped through assuming people all know what the heck we're talking about. Can you just kind of break down the kinds of automations at the very least they can find in Kilo?
Totally, yeah. So what we're talking about is like if people are inquiring about your gym, the land of your website, or maybe some kind of page where you have an offer, or even something on Facebook or some kind of ad, they're going to land on it, and ideally, you are asking that person to opt in for more information.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be step number one: some kind of form, some kind of way for someone to inquire and submit info to you, so that you can follow up with them, right? So at the
Mm-hmm.
very least, it's a form asking for a name, email, and phone number, right? So once they submit that form, the manual way would be to get the information, and then follow up with them. Either take the email address, email them, or text them, or call them, or whatever it is, right? With an automation, there's lots of tools these days that can help you do that automatically. So someone submits a form, someone inquires at your gym, someone wants to take advantage of your free trial, or your 2-week paid trial, or your sales consultation, or nutrition consultation, whatever it is. There's some kind of automatic response where they will receive a text, an email, or maybe even an automated phone call or voicemail drop as soon as they submit the form, and get a response from you right away without you having to do anything, right? So just an automatic response, either via email, text, or even a phone call. That's what we're talking about. So that's kind of like the basic version. Then there are tools, Kilo included, where you can create an automated sequence. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, someone inquires, they fill out a form, the automation sends a response that, hey, thanks for inquiring at the gym. Use this link to book your intro so you can pick up that free week pass at the desk. And
Mm-hmm.
then if they take advantage of that offer, there's follow-ups that get sent automatically.
Yep.
Or if they don't, it's like, hey, we saw you didn't grab that the 2-week trial that we just offered you. Just a reminder, don't forget, here you
Yep.
can still grab it. There's still time. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about automations.
Yeah, thanks. It's a really great overview. And for folks listening who maybe don't use automations yet, or even if you do, you can see in Mateo's description here how much time you're saving when you use automations. Every one of those outreaches is either an outreach you don't have time to do, so you're not doing it, or one you are doing, you're spending so much time doing all of these reminders and outreach when there's now automations to do it for you.
So something else that I want to touch on with your first question, right? So
Yeah.
another way where people kind of maybe mess this up is maybe you have signed up for some kind of service, or you've gotten maybe you've seen an ad, or perhaps even downloaded something from the Business for Unicorns library where you can get some templates, right? You're getting some automations to work with. Gym owners need to take time to tailor that stuff to make it sound like it's unique to them, right? So we at Kilo, we offer a whole series of automations, like a year's worth of automated reminders, stuff that's pre-written for you, right? Stuff that we've designed already for you. But we tell people when they sign up, like, you should tailor this to make it sound like it's unique to you and your voice. This is really just to get the ball rolling. This is just so that your automations aren't empty. Like, you're not sending blank messages out
Yep.
when you first start. We work really hard to make these sound compelling and to sound and to work so that they do convert. But you should take the time to make these automations sound unique and sound tailored to you and your voice. So they don't sound like a robot. They
I
aren't
think
coming
it's
from a robot, and
yeah,
you
yeah.
can make go for
Of
it.
course. I think it's really important, Teo, because, right, I think that's a big concern I hear from people when they first consider using automations. So, like, I'm just worried it's not going to sound like us. I'm just worried people are going to think it's inauthentic, or they're going to be put off. But you're right. They have to, that's part of the process, is going in and making sure it is in your voice. It does sound like your brand. It has your tone, your energy. And you go back and look at it once in a while, like you said earlier, to make sure it doesn't grow stale, doesn't become, become off-brand suddenly because you've made some changes. I think that's really an important one. The other objection I hear from people sometimes when it comes to starting to use automations is they really worry about bugging their leads. They really have this idea that if I follow up more than once a day, or I follow up too often, I'm just going to piss off my leads and they're going to run in the opposite direction. And so, how do you all help your clients find, like, the right amount of lead follow-up that's assertive so it gets responses, but it's not so far that you're just, like, pissing off these clients by, like, flooding their text message or their inbox in a way that's super annoying? So how do you help people find that balance?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is really just, like, I think the most important part, so that you don't even have to worry about this question, is your speed to response. You
Yeah.
have to respond right away. And that's somewhere where automation can help you do that, because if you're coaching a class, or if you're handling another sales appointment, someone can respond to this inquiry, or not someone, a robot can respond to this inquiry right away. And you need that. You need that speed to response if you want to make the sale. I mean, I think, and then when it comes to follow up, I don't know. I think what would help is, so for gym owners, right? We haven't looked for a gym in a while. Like, we haven't gone as a
Gone through
a
that
prospect.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't, like, looked for fitness solutions in a minute, right?
Yep.
And maybe something that might be useful is to think about, well, but some gym owners, like, if they're going to business conferences, they'll travel, right? So this is, like, kind of clicked for me recently, where I was traveling, and I wanted to stay in my routine. I needed to find a place to work out, and I needed to find it right away, right? Like, I lose a day if I'm trying to go 3 days a week, I'm losing a day of traveling. So the next day I'm, like, free to go find a spot before I got to go to a work conference or whatever. I need to find that class. So if I'm reaching out to gyms, I need that solution now. Like, I need that solution right away. Like, I'm hungry. And so, like, whoever is going to pick up the phone and get me into their gym fastest is going to get my money. Right.
Yep.
And, I think a bet, if obviously people who work out regularly, that's not the target demographic for most gyms. Most gyms is people working out for the first time. Right. But that is just kind of, my point is to illustrate that yet there is a
Yeah.
sense of urgency there for the people inquiring at your gym. You may not think it's like a doctor's office. You may not think it's
Mm-hmm.
like I called an AC. I needed help with my AC the other day, right? And that was like kind of urgent. So I was
Yep.
calling everyone, and whoever picked up first was gonna. I
Was
really
getting my
wasn't
business.
interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't interested in shopping around and price comparing. I was like, "Can you come out today, right now?" Yes, I can. Okay, great. Well, you're the one who's going to come then, right?
100%. Well, I'll say this. I might have shared this story on the podcast before, but when I moved to our house in upstate New York, or technically downstate in the Hudson Valley, um, I did the same thing. I reached out to like the four closest gyms, and the one that got back to me first is the one I went to. Right?
Mm-hmm,
The one who was
mm-hmm.
easy, made it easy for me to connect with and schedule a session. That's the one I went to. I wasn't interested in price shopping around. Some people might be, right? But I think that speed to lead is really critical. And that they got back to me. They actually had a process to follow up with me. I think was pretty critical. When it was very clear, some others didn't. Some others I never heard from at all, which is just such a shame.
Yeah.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, like that's exactly right. I mean, it may not, kind of what I was saying before, it may not seem like someone who like maybe sees your ad on Facebook or someone who like Google's gym near me,
Mm-hmm.
and they fill out your form. Um, it may not seem like it's the same as someone who like needs some dental work right away because their tooth hurts. Like
Sure.
it may not seem like it's the pain is
Yeah.
the same sense of urgency, but it kind of is. It's like
I think. Yeah.
you have to
I
think
think.
about what motivated someone to like fill out a form for a gym.
Yeah. That's
That
it.
person must be like really interested
Yeah.
in doing something about it at that moment, right?
Yeah. I think
And
that's it.
that's only going to get that drive is only going to get less salient and potent as time goes on. So I guess to get back to your original question, you got to get back to them right away, and don't be afraid to do a flurry of follow-ups, you know, soon after that opt-in point, right?
Yeah.
So that whole first day, essentially, that person has inquired, you should be following up regularly. You know, our follow-up sequences, they do an automatic text after someone fills out a form, followed by an automatic email 15 minutes later, then another text 3 hours later. And then, of course, we're sending tasks out to the front desk or whoever is assigned um, to manually call that person too,
Yep.
right? So, you know, that first day, there should be a flurry of follow-ups because that's when you're going to have the most likelihood of converting that person.
Yeah.
After that, you know, we still consider like the following day, that person's still pretty warm,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it was like a week, I don't know, like a weekend or something, or maybe if it was a work day, you know, maybe if it was like later at night when they inquired. Following up the next morning is still, you know, they're still going to be pretty warm, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then you want to think about maybe spacing out the responses, right? After that first 2, maybe even 3-day period, that's when you want to think about like checking in, you know, once a week and then like once a month. And then they go into like a long-term kind of lead nurture sequence.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said, my friend. I just want to highlight for our listeners 2 things about what you said. One is that you're right. The urgency in getting the speed to lead is that moment that they reach out to you and ask for help, to say, I want some help and you might be it, is often a fleeting moment of motivation or courage on behalf of them. And that doesn't always last forever. It is often a fleeting moment of in bed at night. Okay, I guess I'll reach out to this gym. Maybe now is the moment. I'm going to start working out again. And if you don't get back to them for hours and hours and hours or days and days and days, you might have missed the boat of that, that moment. I think it's huge. I also love what you said, which is, it has to be a flurry of follow-ups, especially early on in those first few days. It can, you know, linger. It can start to spread out a little bit as the days go by. But I think the more assertive you can be in those first few days, the more success you'll have. And there's a lot of research we've seen that points to that. So I think that's really clear. Let me ask you another question. So you all at this point have worked with hundreds or thousands of gyms. I'm not sure how many, but many thousands of gyms,
Billions.
billions and billions of gyms. And I'm sure you've seen all kinds of different lead funnels, all different kinds of funnels for how people get folks into their gym. What are you seeing the most successful gym owners do? What is the kind of lead process or lead funnel that you think most people are using and having success with? And it might be the one you just described, and maybe just describe it again. But, you know, what is the lead funnel you see is working for most people most of the time?
Um, I honestly, I kind of am a little agnostic about this because of what
Mm-hmm.
we just talked about before. It's
Yes,
really
it's got to
just a matter
change,
of
and
like,
yeah,
it's really just a matter of following up. You know, there's so
sure.
many, there's plenty of inquiries you're probably getting as an owner that you're just leaving money on the table because you're not following up fast enough or consistent enough. Having said that, a lot of gyms are moving. I guess like what's old is new again, right? I feel like a basic like week trial or
Mm-hmm.
50% off for your first month, you know that was kind of like the classic way of doing things. Then you had this new kind of like challenge
Yep.
or short term kind of like kind of front end offer, 21-day fat loss challenge, rapid fat loss challenge, fitness challenge, 6-week challenge, 12-week challenge. And then now again, we're kind of seeing this a low barrier offer working really well. X, 2-week trial or 14-day trial, 30-day trial, a paid trial for X amount of dollars, or
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, some kind of really compelling front end offer, like a 50% off your first 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever it is.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot of people move to that and having a lot of success. The key to having success with that, though, is if you're going to go with like a low barrier front end offer, um, you've got to have a really dialed in follow up process, post sale of that
Yep.
front end offer. So if it's like a 99-day 2-week trial or whatever it is, or 50% off your first personal training session, whatever it is, um, you've got to make sure that the journey inside the gym from front end offer to like full member conversion is dialed in. And that's also another place where automation can help. You can
For
have an
sure.
automated new client or trial sequence where you are obviously you're going to do a lot of that work in the gym, right? You're going to sell them on your product and your service. But you can also have gentle reminders like, hey, like your trial's expiring, or hey, like how is that first session? There can be an
Mm-hmm.
automated kind of response, like how was your first session for the trial? Like how did it go with coach so and so? 2 days later, did you book your next one
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is? Like, and then leading up to the trial, hey, let's book a time to come, you know, close out the trial and see how you're doing, how you did, right? Um, you can use automated messages to kind of um, either like help you along, convert that person along the journey, or for yourself and your team.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to send an automated message while they're in the gym, but you can have tasks sent automatically to your staff. Be like, hey, it's halfway through the trial. You have to give this person a call, or you have to
Yep.
give this person their T-shirt bundle, or whatever it is. Right? Those kinds of things can really help streamline the process and help you convert into long-term members.
Yeah, I think that's so smart, Mateo, and I think it's a great takeaway for our members, our listeners, which is these automations don't have to just be for leads; they can be for people once they are in your door. And for many of our Unicorn Center members, they do have this kind of two-part sales process where they sell them on the LBO, then they sell them on the membership, and so both of those processes can involve automations. And even once they are become a member, there's kind of an onboarding process that
Mm-hmm.
often can benefit from some automations and reminders. So I think that's really critical. And when you think about adding up all of that time saved, right, then automations could more than pay for themselves in the
Yes.
first few
Yeah.
months, which
Yeah.
means that, paying for something like Kilo is such an easy value proposition. Yeah, thank you for that. I guess in the interest of time, I guess one more question. It feels like these days I can't have a guest on the podcast without
Mm,
talking about AI. So we're
mm,
doing it. And so,
great.
especially since you're a software company, I kind of have to. And so, I'll ask you the kind of generic question, but I think it's a good one, which is, how do you see gym owners using AI to improve their business now? Are you noticing people using it well? And then what are your thoughts about the future, either for Kilo or generally the industry?
Yeah, well, I kind of think it relates to something you touched on earlier. What we didn't really get into was this idea of like authenticity and
Mm-hmm.
how to sound authentic versus how do you do that when you're using robots? And
Yeah.
now you're using even uh, the robot's robot, you know what I mean?
Yes, totally.
With AI. And so I think one, I just want to reemphasize you want these to sound authentic. You can kind of be cheeky about it. You can
Hmm.
say, hey, this is one of my robot assistants responding to you. I'm away helping someone else, but I promise I'm going to call you back and blah, 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 or
Sure.
whatever it is, right? You could, I think for I think for like the preset automations that you have for every person who opts in, you really want to make sure that sounds like you or your brand voice. And I think some way that you can do that is treat it as how you would have a conversation with someone at the front desk, right? You want to keep it
Mm-hmm.
conversational. You want to keep it light. You, we have found actually that the more professional it sounds, it actually doesn't work in a business like ours where it's so relationship
Yep.
one-on-one kind of focused, right? So I think you could film yourself or record yourself how you would say hello to this person after they opted in, and then just turn that into text. You could also like film or even like mock how you would greet someone at the front desk who was
Mm-hmm.
inquiring about the gym, and
Yep.
just turn that into a text written form, right? For
Yeah.
either an SMS or an email, an automated email, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a way that you can kind of make these feel authentic. Now, I do know people are leveraging AI to help with copywriting when it comes to kind of like ongoing newsletters, the stuff that's new
Sure.
every week or
Yep.
every other day or monthly, right? Or your blog posts, right?
Yep.
I know Fisher's kind of I think a proponent of this. I don't know. I know there's a lot of work to try and train your AI to sound like you, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, it just goes back to
So
the authenticity and
yeah.
consistent brand voice is that,
Mm-hmm.
people buy from people. So you don't want your brand to sound like a robot or like a brand. You want it to sound like a person talking. And so I think whether you're using AI to make your automations better, or you're using it to write a landing page or a blog post or an email,
Mm-hmm.
all of those need to sound like they're coming from a person. And I think, AI is getting better and better at that, but you can, certainly Fisher has played around with training it to try and sound like him, and it does okay. It's usually like a clown version of him, but
Right.
it's getting better. He's already
So
so close to a clown, so it's hard to
right,
find the
right,
line. Yeah.
right. So I think what I'm trying to say is like, even if you struggle with writing or it's not your strong suit, right? Just record how you would talk to someone and just turn that into an email for your, like, I guess your set automations that you're going to have
Mm-hmm.
fire out for stuff that you need to create ongoing. I think AI can be useful to kind of like get the creative juices flowing, or if you
Mm-hmm.
want some prompts or some ideas, I think it can help like, get the ball rolling. But yeah, again, I would kind of question, we're spending all this time training it to sound like you, just like write something. You already sound like you.
You already
Um,
sound like you.
yeah. Having said that, I do think that where I think people are not, I think maybe something that hasn't been talked about on your show, maybe it hasn't. I don't know. Something where I do think you have to be kind of conscious of and aware of in terms of AI is considering how Google's ranking system is now
Yeah.
changing slightly because of the AI summaries that it generates post searches, right after searches. So you want to keep up with the best practices there, and that's where an expert in website services and delivery can really help you, because the goalposts are being moved once again as to where sites get ranked and what the criteria is as Google starts to use AI more and more to create those summaries after searches are completed, right? So just something to be aware of there. Um, of course, there's new tools, even with our products, where you can have like AI can help you connect with prospects more quickly. It can kind of
Mm-hmm.
start to do like a voice assistant or conversation bots that can help them. Someone a bot can help a prospect find an appointment, right? It's like, oh,
Yep.
like you didn't book here. What about option A or option B? So it can be useful there, and we're certainly experimenting with that more and more. We're having gym owners who are finding success with that. Um, and as I mentioned before, it can save some time when it comes to content writing and social media posts. But yeah, I think that's it. It's all of this stuff that we just talked about is a
Yeah.
lot,
That's a great
right?
list. Right. That's a great
It's a
list.
lot, and it
Yeah.
can be overwhelming. And so I think when you're thinking about how to get started with this, if you haven't already, is like just create like a couple automations so we have something that gets sent out when someone opts in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can kind of layer on top of that. You can build larger sequences in terms of a follow up. Like, let's just start with a week long sequence of follow up. Then we can build it to like 2 weeks and a month long and a year or whatever it is. Then we can start to play around and see where AI can make booking more efficient, perhaps. Um, but uh, but yeah, I just think You don't have to worry about any of that if you just call someone right away when they inquire.
It's great. I mean, I love that you're hitting home that point so well because I think it is the most important thing, and
Yeah.
it's a thing that a lot of people just aren't doing as consistently as they know they need to, and so I think it's good to hammer that point home. Well, I'm going to leave it there because I could chat with you all day as always, and our listeners and I always learn so much when you come, Mateo. It's great to hear your perspective, and I just really appreciate all the work y'all are doing at Kilo to support gym owners the way you do. It's so valuable. For anyone out there who wants to learn more about Kilo or follow you all online or test you out, what do they do next?
Yeah, go to usekilo.com. You can check out some of the stuff we're offering. We got some promos going on. So yeah, check it out. Book a call. You can talk to not AI. You'll talk to a real person. You will talk to a human being, and I think
Yeah.
that's important too. As someone who used to have a gym that was serious fitness for ridiculous humans, humans are
Hmm.
important, and
Yeah.
you'll talk to one if you book a call. So
I love that.
yeah, go to usekilo.com.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time, Mateo. Great to talk to you as always, and enjoy your day. Thanks, listeners. See you on the next one.
Bye.